All right, guys, here's going to be another project we're going to start on. This is a Bearcat chipper shredder, a 1020, something like that. So it originally had, I believe, it was either a Honda or a Kohler. I think this one actually had a Kohler on it, sitting here with a pulley on there that drove everything. So the cheapest engine I can get is from the cheap tool store, and it's $1,000. Well, I've got all these tractors with PTOs on and PTO shafts everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off this little trailer thing, and I'm going to turn it into a 3-point chipper shredder. It's already got the blower on there. That's an option that you can add to these things apparently. So it's got the blower on there. I have the rest of it sitting over there somewhere. So the first step that we're going to have to do is pull it off of this little trailer, and I actually have a purpose for this little trailer anyway. So that little trailer is going to end up the garden trailer. Have to cut some welds on it and all that good stuff, but it'll work. So I think what we're going to have to do is get a PTO clutch or a PTO shaft with a slip clutch that fits this. I'm hoping 540 is enough to spin this thing at. Should be, but we'll spin it. We'll try that and see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. But basically, instead of welding to this, I'm going to make a carry-all, for lack of better terms, that goes underneath it and comes way out here, because I want it a little further from the tractor. So I want some distance between the chipper shredder and the tractor itself, so I can put limbs and all that good stuff in there. But we're gonna give it some space. Basically, to get it off of this trailer, all I got to do is take off that bolt, and that bolt. Oh no, I'm sorry. This bolt, and then the same thing on the other side. And then I think I have to take off this bolt right here, which will get this out of the way. And then I can set this whole trailer off to the side and worry about it later, or first, or whatever. And then, because from what I can tell, this piece actually already has a bottom on it. I was worried I was going to have to put a bottom on it. But anyway, and then we build it out to where the blower actually turns. You can spin it whichever way you want to, but we've got some rust issues and stuff like that we're gonna have to fix. So keep watching. We're gonna try and turn this thing into a 3-point chipper shredder. They did offer these as a chipper shredder. I don't remember the model numbers on them, but they offered them as a 3-point. So I'm going to end up taking off this pulley here. But anyway, keep watching. It's been sitting in the woods for quite some time. Not woods, but it was. Anyway, it's been sitting over there for quite some time. I'm going to try and see if we can make it do something. So keep watching, and hopefully soon we'll have some updates on this bad boy. But anyway, remember, like, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Looking at this, as I'm taking this apart, I'm probably going to set it down just a little bit. But there's a chance this thing kind of folds up on me as I'm doing this. So I'm going to be real careful and see what I can do here. I don't even think this piece is bolted to it. I don't think. Over here, oh, I got some rust going on. I don't think I see anything over there. I don't think. Wheel well is, but nothing else is. So we're gonna try and get a hold of this one. I think it's a 9/16. It looks like it. I don't want it a whole long ways off the ground, but we're gonna make it work. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Oh, because I didn't take that all the way off, dummy. Probably what saved it from falling on me a minute ago. There it went. All right. And that's off the trailer. Now, we're gonna, ooh. Let's take this belt and throw it over there. And we're off. Let's see. That bad boy's heavy. I think we're still stuck on stuff though. Get my hand truck and get some stuff out the way. We are gonna have to flip that bad boy over, I think, so I can work on it and do what I want to do. A couple, I don't know yet. Yeah. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on something. I didn't think it was that heavy. It might be that heavy. Might have to put it in there with the loader. Or not. How about we get this trailer out of the way? It doesn't really roll. And I've hit with the mower a couple times. All right. So, no, it's just that heavy. Wow. Huh. I kind of want it flipped over already. You know what? I don't think it is that heavy. I really think I'm stuck. Let me lift this thing up. Yeah, I didn't think so. Woo! It might be that heavy. I swear I'm stuck. We're back working on our chipper shredder conversion. And I've got all my parts in. So we're going to talk about the parts that are on the table real quick, and some of it's not parts on the table. But anyway, so we've got our 2 new pulleys and our quick disconnect, basically bushings that go with them. So this big pulley is going to go, well, and I'll show you that here in a second. This big pulley goes to where the 540 shaft is going to go. and this one goes actually to the chipper shredder. There's a whole thing I'll show you guys in a little bit on how to figure out your pulleys and everything. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. So you've got your big pulley, your little pulley, both quick disconnect bushings, belts that I'm not sure are going to be the right length. We've got our shaft that'll go to the PTO, and an actual PTO coupler. And this is obviously going to go on the drive shaft itself, which I've already got somewhere else, but I'm not going to pull that in here. So let's talk about kind of how this is going to work. And I forgot to mention our pillow block bearings here and our keyways. So we've got our pillow block bearings. Obviously the shaft, it doesn't need to be this long. It'll be cut down. So it's going to go through the pillow block bearings, kind of like you see. It'll go through this pulley and this bushing right here. Okay, and then this, which is actually also a quarter keyway, will go. So basically that there, the shaft will be protruding through. This will go on top of it, and then you can connect your PTO shaft right to that, is the plan. And it'll run on those pillow block bearings. It's only, I mean, that shaft's only going to be, you know, a foot and a half long, something like that. But that's kind of the plan as of right now. And it should work if everything works. I said now, and of course we got some keyways here that actually, one of them came with the keyway, I guess because it's an odd size. It was actually pretty difficult to find. But actually I'm a little worried about how it'll hold, but as long as we start the PTO at a low speed and go from there, it should be okay. I said that's basically the plan. Both of the pillow block bearings do have the locking collars, the eccentric locking collars on them. So, but next thing we need to talk about is how we got to what size pulleys we need, because one, I was missing a pulley. Two, we're changing the ratio because an engine, obviously, a 20 horsepower engine its RPMs are going to be somewhere, you know, generally up to 3,600 RPMs coming off that drive shaft, the crankshaft on a small engine. So that changes everything. Whereas on the engine, we have the engine side running 3,600 RPMs, and we need to reduce that down to whatever the RPMs the chipper needs to be. Now we're only going to be running 540 RPMs, and we need to go and speed that up on the side the chipper needs to be, because 540 isn't going to chip anything very well. So we're going to jump over here, and I'll kind of show you guys how I figured out what size my pulleys need to be. So give us just a minute and we'll get switched over there. All right, so ignore all my other notes on the board. That's all things I need to do and things I want to do. We're going to take these off of here real quick, put them somewhere else. So like I said, on the original machine, you had an engine, right? So we're gonna makeshift draw an engine, right? That's horrible, but anyway. Then you have a crankshaft, and then on this one you had a larger pulley, and then you come over here and no, I take that back. This pulley, according to the manufacturer, this is the pulley I didn't have. This one was 5.6 inches in diameter here. And then you come over here, and this one was like 11.9 inches in diameter here that goes to the chipper. So your belt would come around, and that gives you a ratio. But again, this one's spinning like 3,000 RPMs. And then I think with all the math I did, this one was spinning like 2,000 RPMs, or right about there, 2,100, something like that. So what we needed to find out is how do we make the same RPMs on this side while reducing significantly our RPMs on this side? Well, we know what we're going to have to do is this pulley over here is going to have to be a lot bigger than this pulley over here, because we need to speed up 540 here. But there's something you can do that will tell you what that needs to be. And it all has to do with the diameter of both of these pulleys and the RPM. So we know and it's plus or minus, right? So we know this one's spinning at 540 RPM. So we need to know what size of course, pulleys that are available, because you can't get every single size. What size pulley on this side, if it's spinning 540 RPM, would put this pulley somewhere around 2,000 RPMs. So I'm going to show you how I did that. First, you need to get the diameter, or first you need this, and you need to know what you want to be here. The next step you need to do is, there's some equations that you can do that'll...
We just Google it, make it easy. So we do pulley calculator. Just go here. All right, so once this pulls up, you'll see we can punch in some diameters of pulleys. Well, we know that the original one, if we go look at it, I've already got it pulled up here for ease of use. So number 1 is the small pulley, which is on the engine side, which is a 2B 5.2 SDS, which ends up about 5.5, I believe. So let's see what the original one's running. So your small diameter pulley is 5.5, and if you're curious, it's 5.55 is what it is. The large pulley diameter that it pulls up on here, number 22, is 9.4, which according to this, 9.4 ends up 9 3/4 right here. So if we plug that into the pulley calculator, 9 3/4. All right, so our small RPM, this is on a Kohler 20 horsepower engine, or it was a Kohler 20 horsepower engine at the time. These were actually set up to run about 3,600 RPMs was their max RPM. So we'll go ahead and calculate it based on that. So that tells us our small pulley is spinning about 3,600 RPMs off the crank of the engine, and our large pulley is spinning about 2,000 RPMs-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we've got to get pretty close to that. So that's how I started playing with some stuff to figure out how to reverse those. Well, you know, if we spin that around, we know our large pulley is going to have to be on the PTO side. So we're going to take our large pulley and put it to 540 and hit calculate there. Now, we're only spinning 957 RPMs. What we have to do is we have to find pulleys that are readily available that will fit on this machine that will spin at the required 2,000 RPMs. So you can play with this all day long and figure it out. It'll also tell you your belt size that you need, all that good stuff. So everything over here. But what I ended up doing is I actually went to the Bearcats manuals again, and I found their PTO model, which is basically what I'm making, and found out what their diameter of this pulley is, what their diameter of this pulley is, which respectively, this one's 13.6 and this one's 3.4. So we're just going to go over here and we're going to find out their actual outside diameter is 13.95. So the closest thing we can get to that is 13 point, well, that's close, and 15/16. So if we calculate that, now we're spinning our small pulley at 1,368 RPMs, while our large one is at 540, which is not quite enough. So what do we need to do? We need to shrink this, and that's where the 3.4 comes from, with an overall outside diameter of 3.75. Can't really go much smaller than that because of the inside diameter of the pin required, or of the shaft that goes through this part of the shredder. So again, we go back to here and we say 3.75. Oops, I missed. And we calculate that. That gives us a gap, or it gives us a speed of about 2,000 RPMs. Right in that neighborhood, that's where we want to be. That's what it was working with before, which is a ratio 1 to 3.72. It also tells us about what size belt we need. And according to Again, the manual on this, if you look at number 23, this says it's a 2RB56, which is a 56-inch belt. So to get a 56-inch belt, I'm pretty sure this had to be a, was it 13? I want to say it was like 13 and an eighth is what that needed to be, the distance between there and there. So from center to center is supposed to be 13 and an eighth, roughly, which if we were to do that, I don't know that it'll work. But anyway, that's how we figured out our pulley diameters, and this is a really handy pulley calculator. And we can actually go ahead and rotate this at full speed, and you can kind of see the ratio there. That thing's screaming. Anyway, that's how we found our pulley diameters, by cheating and Googling it.
Okay, so that was fun. So anyway, we know this one was like 13.6, right? And we know this one was 3.6, which is how we got to which pulleys we're going to do. And then the belt, again, by the manufacturer, on this style with a PTO was a 56-inch belt. So if you saw our little thing there, you know that the distance between here and here in the center would have to be 12 inches. I don't think that's possible on this machine. So I think the belts I have are actually not going to work. But we still have a lot of stuff to do to figure some of that out. So kind of the plan is, and this might be easier to show you on the machine, but we'll draw a picture, right? So we've got our main part of our chipper here. Okay, and you've got this piece that comes off the side, that's the blower. Okay, and you've got, a flange bearing actually is what it is. Oh, that's horrible. I'm not an artist. Well, actually, anyway. So you've got your flange bearing that comes like this, right? And you've got your shaft in the middle, and then we're going to have this small pulley. The plan, I've got a big piece of C-channel, is we're going to run that C-channel out like this from both sides, and we'll weld it over here, right? And then somewhere, it's kind of going to go up at an angle, somewhere right in here, we're going to put that pillow block bearing, and then our big pulley is going to be right in there. So this has to come out far enough, and I've got plenty of C-channel, the big C-channel to do it. This has to go out far enough because the plan is to come off this C-channel a little bit and taper this down on both sides and put in your pin, right? And that's where you're going to hook your 3-point arms to. And it'd be the same thing on this side. And then your belt will run like this. So that's kind of the plan right now. This distance, like I said right here, concerns me because as it stands now, to get 12 inches, that pillow block bearing is going to have to be like right here. And that's just not going to work. I don't think it will anyway. But that's kind of the plan. And then we'll build a stand, for this thing to sit on, so the metal's not sitting on the ground all the time. But that's our plan right now. We've got to get some of this in the works. I think the first stage is kind of figuring this out right here. I'm almost half tempted to, I've got a 6-foot piece of the C-channel. I'm almost half tempted to weld the whole thing on there right now. Get it where I kind of want it, drill these holes out where this needs to go, or cut this totally out where that needs to go, if it'll fit. And weld it on. It'll be, a piece I got is 6 feet long. I got it from the scrapyard, so I paid a whole 50 cents a pound for it. But it's 6 feet long. Like I said, I'm really tempted to just weld that sucker on there at 6 feet, figure out what everything needs to be, and then cut it off. because I'm not bad at figuring things out, but coming past this pulley, depending on where that's going to be, and making sure this is away from it. This piece coming out here, you know, making sure that's far enough away from that pulley is my concern. But of course, math would help that. But then again, it has to be in a position that a belt is available for. So, and the other thing is my tensioner that's actually down here in the corner on a shaft. It would be nice if I could use that without a whole lot of modification. Which, you know, it's got a tensioner pulley on it. It'd be nice if I could use that without having to modify it a whole bunch. I don't mind having to move that pulley down here or something like that a little bit further on this shaft, because it's gonna, you know, go that way. Anyway, that's kind of the plan right now. My jumbled, garbled mess. I don't know how much you can see of that. But anyway, that's the plan right now. So we're going to get kind of working on that. You might not see everything, but hopefully it all turns out pretty well. I need to get an actual eraser for this thing. Never weld near a whiteboard. That's all these little black spots are weld splatter. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. So stay tuned. Keep watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and we'll see you as we work through this thing. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. And I was going to use this chair, but I might have to get a different chair, one of my low chairs. Anyway, first thing we got to do is get the old pulley off. That's not the right diameter for anything we just talked about in the last part. So we got to get this pulley off. These are quick disconnect bushings, and I'm not going to lie to you. I've already had this off one time, so it's not going to be real hard to get off. But if you're messing with these and it's been any kind of time, it may very well be hard to get this off. But we're going to try and keep that keyway up to the top. And I don't know if there's an Allen wrench in there or not. But anyway, I've already had it off, so that doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to pull that out. And we're going to pull that out. Now, you thread these into these other holes. This is what's nice about these. They're made so you can get them off a whole lot easier than them just being on a shaft. See the split right here? So we're going to very gently we're going to make it touch on all four spots. Then we're just going to kind of 1, 2, 3. There it goes. 4, 5. There we go. See, the pulley actually comes off that way. Now we're off there, right? We're going to spin this back around this way and spin it a little bit more. So I've got this down here for, because it kind of helps. Spread that out a little bit, and then she's moving. She's not moving a lot, but she's moving. Come on, get in there. Oops. This was a lot easier in the other chair. There we go. remember exactly how I got this off before. I know it comes off though. That's actually working. On off of there. Got another one right here. They still get stuck really well. I mean, that's their job, of course. Quit it. So we got that wedged in there, and it comes right off. You're really not supposed to do that, but anyway. Here's that one. All right, now our pulley's off. That's our old pulley. We can save it for something else, some other project later. I'll turn this around. we're gonna have to do some measuring. This keyway's got to come out. Hoping I can kind of just snag it right there. All right. That keyway's out. We will end up cleaning up this shaft. It's kind of rusty. But we need to measure this to make sure it's going to fit inside the C channel we got. I think it will. The easiest thing to do would be to cut out a big hole around it. There is enough space to pull it out, though, if I wanted to. Anyway, that one's off. All right, so, I mean, I could probably pull up this thing right here and tell you, you know, so it's approximately 7 inches tall, what, 4 inches wide? Somewhere in there. Yeah, so 7 inches tall, 4 inches wide. I'm gonna go check the C channel that I got and make sure that that's gonna fit inside of it. I think it should. It shouldn't be a problem. But we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the C channel should work fine. What we're of course going to be doing is putting that one on there and putting this one on. Definitely needs cleaned up some. But this will go on here and that'll go in there. Make sure all of our pulleys are aligned, all that good stuff. But see, much smaller pulley on this side. Barely anything here. Like I said, I am a little concerned about that keyway, but ideally it might be all right. Because when I put this in here, it just barely sticks up. God. We'll see. We'll see if that's enough material to keep this thing together. But anyway, that's where that's going to go. We do have some work to do. I might have to run to the store so I can get something for my plasma cutter, because I think that's how I'm going to do this. Is I'm just going to cut out a ring around this so that it can sit in there. Sorry, pondering. We'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so like I was talking about, if we did, I mean, that's almost center, right? So we're a little less than a ½ inch off. See, it doesn't matter if I come straight out. I mean, obviously, if I go at an angle, it's a little different. But if I come straight out from there, which I can't really do, it's going to be up at an angle a little bit wherever the top of the C channel is. There's no way I can make that 1 foot, right? So what I have to do is I'm going to have to come out. I'm going to have to either call it 13 or 14 inches, I think, which is going to change my belt size, which I didn't really think of that very much, but that's okay. So I think it's more like going to be 14 inches. Let me grab that big old pulley, right? Take this off of it. Oh, that pulley's heavy. So if we take this pulley, make sure we can see everything I'm looking at here. Yeah. All right, so if we take this pulley and we put it right here, and we say, you know, at 14-inch center, coming up at an angle, it's going to be about that far away. We might need to go more than that. I don't want to get too wide because you start getting issues with the 3-point attachment. So if we did 20-inch center, and then I cut that tensioner pulley down, how long of a belt does that make? See, that's going to be way out here. So I'm starting to think we need to do like 20 inches on center. Obviously, it's going to be down significantly more than that. Let me get this out the way. Going to be down somewhere in here. Come on now. Oh no, I don't like how far that's coming out. The tensioner I can figure out. That ain't no problem. It might not be able to be on this pedal. I said if we do. I don't even know that I like that. Maybe 16. Maybe we do 16 inches on center, which is going to put my 3-point arms out at, I don't know, somewhere around 27, 28 inches apart. These are 31, which is fine for big ones. For little ones, it doesn't work. I'm going to have to get... See, I don't want to waste C-channel, though, because I'm going to have to use it for the pieces that come out. So here's my thoughts, is it needs to come from at least here. If I cut it at 3 feet, it gives me 3 feet left, which, you know, foot and a half. I don't think we want it any longer than about 31, 32 inches. So why don't we go ahead and cut a piece at 31 inches? Because I don't want it any wider than that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut a piece at 31 inches and then start working with it. Alright guys, I know it's in the shade and it's hard to see. There's my completed, I made half of it, wood chipper. So it's not all painted yet, but it works. And we're going to go out and show you the maiden voyage here in just a little bit. PTO shaft is off, I got to tighten that. I've painted a couple things, I've cleaned out inside of it. But there it is, all hooked to the tractor, ready to go. It does work, but we'll get to that in a minute. I've got to address an issue here. This keeps trying to come off. I guess I just don't have it tight enough. But we'll go out there and we'll take some video of it running here in just a minute. I've got another little trailer that I'm going to have to set up to see. There's the chute, comes out to take the wood chips and the mulch that we're going to use around the farm here. But anyway, that's it, man. It's all together. Everything's all welded. My pulleys are in place. A little bit of an issue with the tensioner, but it does work like I wanted it to for the most part. But still, it does pretty good. It's supposed to go up to 5 inches. I'm going to call bull crap on that. But anyway, I mean, we got plenty of horsepower. The blades aren't dull. They're not sharp, but they're not dull. And it don't want to take a 5-inch branch. There's no way. No, well, let me rephrase that. I don't want to hold on to a 5-inch branch while I'm trying to put it in there, because it doesn't seem to suck it in. And I've never really used one of these. But anyway, it doesn't really seem to suck it in. Instead of me having to hold it, it kind of bounces, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong there. But anyway, we'll take it out here in just a little bit, and I'll show you guys how it works. We're going to show you something else that's kind of cool about this thing. Lower this down. Hopefully you can see the ground there. It's actually going to work.
So overall, it turned out pretty good. Although we did lose a bunch of video on actually cutting things and welding them and putting them together and a little bit more measuring. The blower works really well. The chipper, shredder, and blower works really well. Bonus feature was that we can use it as a blower. I'm actually going to make a downspout, so to speak, so that the blower will actually blow a little bit closer to the ground, and use it to blow stuff out of the garden. So all the pulleys worked good. The thing works great. Like I said, I don't think I would put something in that's 5 inches in diameter into this thing. I think it would shake your hands to death. I wish it would kind of auto feed. I didn't do anything with the chipper portion itself. I just changed the power requirement. I don't know why I have to continually push on an object to get it to feed into there. You see me throwing little pieces of wood off to the side. That's just because I don't want to stick my hand that far down in there. But it works. It does gum up a little bit, of course, with green wood. So we have to let some of the stuff kind of sit for a little bit so it'll get dry, put it in there so it doesn't gum up so bad. But overall, like I said, it turned out really well. I'm very pleased with it. Still have to do some painting on it. Still have to make a stand. But it works. And we've been using it as we're clearing off another piece of property over here so that we can put some more hay on it. But like always, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, put some comments down there. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you later. Have a good one.